It's Peggy DiMercurio from the Anton Art Center, and I'm here today for us to do a couple of projects for Valentine's Day. So something really simple. We're going to use some coffee filters, and we're going to come up with a couple of things. This is one of my projects that I did today. Happy Valentine's Day, a little card with some of our coffee filter art, and mine's got a Z on it because this one is going to be for my little granddaughter, Sarah. So I'm going to show you how to make the coffee filter art, and then we'll put together some different ways that you can then use it to make cards or some other little gifts that you want to give out for Valentine's Day. So I'm going to put that over there. And so the supplies that we're going to use today are pretty simple. We're going to use a coffee filter. So just the white coffee filter, some washable markers, Sharpies, if you want to draw a design that's going to stay, some water, and a paintbrush. Some optional things that we could use are some construction paper in different colors, beads, a pipe cleaner if you want to make a handle for some art, hole punch, and some scissors. So those are some of the things that you can get together so that you can be ready to put some of this together for a coffee filter art. It's one of our favorite projects around here since I discovered it, since Miss Eichhorst, our mixed media instructor, filled me in on some cool ways to make watercolor art. So one of the things that we're also going to do today is going to be this cool tie-dye one. Miss Severia showed us some of this over at our summer camp this past August. And so I tried it out today with the heart, and it turned out pretty cool. Okay, so for the card, I did a little heart. So I actually took one coffee filter and did two hearts. So I'm going to switch cameras here so that we can see this a little bit closer. You can see my hands on this. Okay, so I'm going to take the coffee filter and I just folded it in half because I wanted some little ones. I drew two little hearts on here with Sharpie because I want to be able to see it. My Sharpie marker. I'm going to test out this Sharpie and make sure that, yep, that one draws nicely. I do recommend that. And this was my inspiration piece. Let me put it over here so you can see it. This is a necklace that I just love, and see it's got lots of, it's heart-shaped. It's got some black in there, red, purple, and some white. So I thought that was cool. So that's kind of what I did. With the coffee filter art, we're going to get a tie-dye effect, which is cool. So I'm going to do, again, two hearts. I only have to draw half on that side. So draw two halves of the heart. And then you can come on the other side, just flip it over and trace. You can see it through the coffee filter. You just trace it, and then you've got the other side too. Of course, you don't have to draw it out. You could just cut it out, which is easy too. When it's folded over, you're doing the same thing on both sides. So I'm getting two hearts on here. One of them, maybe I'll do another, let's do one for my son, Stephen. I'm going to put an S on there. And this one, I'm just going to do a pattern. I'm not going to actually put anything. So you could do any pattern you want with the Sharpie. It's not going to wash away. Anything you do on here is going to be permanent with the Sharpie, and it's going to stay in place. I'm going to choose. So my favorite colors for Valentine's Day are going to be some pinks and purples, red, pink, and then this is a washable black marker. So this one I can use, and it will do the tie-dye effect. So I'm going to start off. Now you just color in whatever pattern that you want. So I'm going to start with some black around the edges. And again, this is the washable black. So it's going to move with the water once we get going. So this is kind of a STEAM project, which is science, technology, um, and the E in there, instead of just STEM, you're going to get the art part of it. So it's engineering, math, and art with that A in there. I'm going to do some purple. Now you don't have to color everything in completely, because with the tie-dye effect we're going to get, the coffee filter is actually going to wick things around. So it's going to move the color around. I'm going to add some pink. Now with washable markers for this project, if it's a little dry, you can dip it in your water, because we've got a little cup of water here. You can dip it in there and it'll resuscitate your color enough for this. I'm going to do this pink, some more little red. Another pink over here. Okay, so I don't have to color it in all completely, because the water is going to do some of that work for us. But I'm going to put that in there. Now I'm going to do this other one. And I think I'm going to do purple around the S in the middle. Do some purple up here, down there, and then do some red. Color that in. I'm not going to worry about going outside of it, because I'm going to cut these smaller. I'm not going to worry about that at all. And maybe add in a couple dots. You can color straight, you can add some dots, whatever you would like. Okay, so you get some color down on there. And now what we're going to do is take our paintbrush, and just a cheap little paintbrush, dip it in the water, and you're going to paint the water onto the coffee filter, and in this case, onto the heart. You want to make sure all the color that you had, that you get a little bit of water on it, so that you can start the process of getting the paint to move around a little bit. And you can see, there's our. Now, I did also put some wax paper and some other paper down underneath this, because this project can get a little bit messy. So I'm on something so it doesn't get everything underneath it wet. It is washable marker, so if the marker gets on things, it should wash right off with soap and water. And of course, we have to be careful with the Sharpie that we use, because that's permanent. What's also really a good thing you can do is use a paper plate, and those are great for making sure that your project doesn't get all over the place. So now these take a minute or two to dry, so they're gonna dry. I'm gonna set it over here and let it dry, and then we are going to start working on our next thing, because we're going to want to give this some time to dry too. So for this one, we're going to take our coffee filter, and I didn't draw on it. I just cut this one right with my scissors. So I started at the bottom, cut around, around. So you could always draw it first or just cut it. And so that's it in half. And then when you open it up, it's a heart. Okay. Now for this one, to get that tie-dye look, what I did was I went in rings of color, leaving it folded over, because this one we're going to do all the color on one side, then we're going to add some water to it, and it's going to end up filling in both sides. So I'm not going to use the black on this one. I'm just going to use, I'm going to start with purple. So I'm going to do the same thing I did over there. So add your color. Again, doesn't have to be perfect coloring. We're just getting color down so that we can do our watercolor look once we get going. Okay, that one. Some pink on here, and I'm going to do a bigger block. Okay, and you can be coloring along with me or just watching. Remember what I said too. You can always, if your marker seems a little dry, add a little water to it, because it's not going to be a big deal, because we're going to add a bunch of water anyway. Add some red. I'm going to do it along here. And I'm going to do a bunch more purple. Okay, so see, I have colored in now half of it. The other side, it's bled through a little bit, but not too much. So now we are going to go over to the sink, and I'm going to turn this around so that you can see the sink. I'm going to get the water going. We don't need a lot. It doesn't have to be crazy. So I'm just going to get a little string going of water. Okay. And then do it over here a little bit. So I'm going to start here to get the water, and then I'm going to squeeze it through, and that's going to press it through to the other side too. So a little bit, it starts to do its wicking. And then I'm just going to press it. Now you could wear gloves if you wanted to, but it's washable, so it's going to come off my hands. So yeah, so I'm just wiping the water through, letting it wick, and then you can open it up. Let's turn on the water so we're not wasting water. And let's see the easiest. Here we go. You want to be very careful opening it so that you don't rip it. And you can let it drip into the water. And so you can see we got some color on there. And now we've got the same pattern on both sides. And you can put this on a piece of paper or a paper plate so that you can let it dry. And because you're gonna want it to dry a little bit before you do anything with it. So I'm gonna set this right over here so that it can dry. And then we're gonna come back on over to this way. And we can see what's happening over here. Okay, so that's the cool thing we've got going. We've got our watercolor arts ready. I'm gonna put a couple of spots here. And so with our little pieces, they're just about top one especially is just about dry. So all I did with the last one was I just kind of followed along the Sharpie mark and cut out the heart so that I could glue it onto the card. And then you could do the same thing. Just cut it out. Okay, and then you can grab some construction paper. I'm going to do little cards. So just fold it in half. And then you can glue it right on. And you could do a bunch of these, really. I could do 2. And glue those on, draw. You can decorate it any way you want. You can put notes inside and just glue that on. I used Elmer's glue on this one, school glue. I just did it around the edges and it's holding just fine. And so I wrote Happy Valentine's Day on mine. And then I'm going to do a little note inside. So that's how you can make your card. Now I'm going to do with the one I already did of this, I'm going to do a bigger piece. So some of our options, just grabbing them real quick, are going to be, so you can glue this on here, pick out whatever colors that you want. If you decide you want to either do a big card or you want to do something that they can hang up, we're going to do a little handle too. So you would, same thing, just decide which side you like better. And I just did the glue all around the heart. Okay, put that on there like that. And then I do like purple. So I took a piece of purple pipe cleaner. You could do whatever you want, and some of those little pony beads. And the nice thing with these is they go right onto very easily. So you could pick out all your favorite colors, or the person that you're going to give this little wall hanging to, you can pick out their favorite colors and put some on there. And then all we have to do to hang it, you can decide how you want your hanger. If you want them far apart or close together, I think I'm going to do it like that. And take a hole punch. Punch a little hole out there. And let's do one on this side. Punch one there. Okay, got our little string. I'm going to go in through the front. And then I strung it through. And then I'm just going to go around. Down. On that side. And then same thing over here. Backwards so I can be closer for you to see it. So I just strung it through the hole, pulled it up behind so that it sticks up a little bit, and then you just wrap it around. Hold it. And so there we have our wall hanging. Same thing. Now you can put a message on here if you want to. You could just sign your artwork like artists do. You could put your message on the back for somebody. And you could use this just as a starter and put all kinds of decorations on there, stickers and things, and then they'll be able to hang it up. So I hope you enjoyed seeing how we put together some cool coffee filter art that you can then turn into cards or wall hangings. You can check out some of our other crafts that we do on our YouTube channel, Anton Art Center, all stuck together. And let us know if you do any of our projects. We would love to have you share them with us on our Facebook page or you can use our hashtag Anton Art Center and let us see some of the projects that you've done. We hope you had a great time, and we will talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.